Welcome to this week's Swarf and Chips. We are here at Cogsdill. Later on in the show, we'll be meeting Lee Donaldson and we'll be talking about his latest invention of diamond burnishing tools. But coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking the benefits of balancing your tools. We've got a cracker of a cycle time challenge where you too can win a Swarf and Chips goodie bag. Paul heads up north to BCW where we see a fixture being 3D printed on a HP machine from Matsuura, and we get a high performance turning masterclass from Sandvik here on our Swarf and Chip show at Cogsdill. I am so excited about today's show. It's the first Swarf and Chips that we've ever done in front of a machine where the Swarf management system is raining Swarf and Chips.
It's making parts, it's making money.
Yeah,
More to the point, we're going to find out later on in the show what the relevance is to this piece of landing gear off an aircraft. And I think it's the same wheel that's going to be on your plane when you go on holiday to Barcelona in the summer.
Thanks for that, Paul. I hope not.
Gio doesn't like flying.
So our first video is to do with tool balancing. But Gio, I've got a question for you. What is tool balancing?
Well, tool balancing effectively is making an untrue tool run true. So HAIMER have got a product that can check the tool if it's running true and change the weight or distribute the weight on that tool so it runs true. And the benefits from that are many, you know, longevity of the spindle, the tool running truer, which means better accurate parts.
Yeah, surface finish.
Surface finish, the longevity of the tool. So there's a lot of benefits
It's a bit like a car or a bike, for example, a wheel on a bike. Like Mark, when he's on his bike, he's doing sort of 20 mile an hour, probably less actually. But you imagine if that wheel wasn't balanced, or it wasn't actually once and he fell off. He did. That's why he looks like.
There's one point, if he was going 10 miles an hour, the balancing wouldn't make a difference. It's the same with the tool, really. When you're running at lower speeds, there's probably you'd say there's less need for balancing. The faster that you're running the tool, the more there is need for balancing, if that makes sense.
With weight distribution.
Yeah.
Right, let's head over to Alloy Tooling.
Hi guys, on the show we talk a lot about tool balancing. I'm actually on the south coast with a company that actually do a lot of tool balancing. Chris, we're here at Alloy Tooling. You've recently started tool balancing. How are you finding the journey?
Very worthwhile, informative venture, I have to say.
Yeah, so how long have you been doing it?
Only since around about August, September last year.
Okay, and what are the advantages for engineers watching? You know, they've heard of it probably, but maybe they don't use tool balancing.
Well, when you balance a tool, it actually increases the productivity of the tool or hogger that you're balancing, and it actually enhances the performance all round.
How easy is it to do?
Simple, really simple. It didn't take us long at all. We picked up as we've gone along, and yeah, it was great. Really simple.
And you selected HAIMER for your tool balancing. What's the product like?
The product's great. It's really easy to use. I've had no issues at all. The help's been great from HAIMER when we have had an issue. Yeah, so no problems, yeah.
And the machines behind us, I know this is a new venture for you. Yeah. This is all part of the balancing.
Yes, well, the Volmers that we bought here are a completely new outlet for us. We've never done anything like this before. So yes, we've just been learning as we've gone along. It's been absolutely great, absolutely great.
And why is tool balancing essential to this part of the business? Is it because the tool's rotating faster?
Yeah, it's the speed that they're running at, which obviously adds to the performance, the type of cut that it's making, and obviously longevity of it, which is the most important thing.
So for people watching this, you'd thoroughly recommend tool balancing?
Absolutely, absolutely. You don't realise how important it is until actually you get involved in it and you see the results.
There we are, thank you very much. You've heard it from the horse's mouth. We should all be tool balancing.
So that's a perfect example of a company that is benefiting from balanced tooling and what you can achieve, really.
Totally. Now, what I think we haven't mentioned is actually these boxes that we're sitting on today. Actually, you'll see here, Cogsdill, this is what they deliver their product in. Gio, you've actually laddered your tights as well, haven't you, on these with the splinters? But I've also noticed, actually, how short Gio is. He doesn't run a hot bath, he runs a hot sink.
I'm tiptoeing here, Paul. My tiptoes are just about
He didn't even hear the joke.
No, I don't think he did. Right, next up, we're going to find out our cycle time challenge. This is your chance to get involved. Put your guesses in the comments box below at Castellum.
Guys, I've got a corker of a cycle time challenge from Castellum in Welshpool. Now I'm here with Ted from Mapal. This is a transmission housing. Now Ted, tell me how many operations, tooling operations this has actually had and how many ops?
There are 2 operations on one fixture, 2 setups, and to do the 2 setups there are approximately 30 tools that complete the machining cycle, comprising PCD boring tools, PCD milling tools, drills, taps, etc.
And what type of machine tools are they actually being machined on?
They're machined on a HAIMER H2000. They have 14 of these machines on site, and they do various components. This is the very first component that they started machining when they diversified into the machining from casting.
Bespoke fixturing?
Bespoke fixturing, which was supplied by the machine tool supplier Heller, and Heller obviously have got a superb relationship with Mapal, in which we then did the tooling for them.
Fantastic. Guys, so how long do you think the cycle time of this transmission housing is?
So this is your chance to get involved. Put your guesses below, and we give out a Swarf and Chips goodie bag every single week. So this week it could be your chance, but I've got to hand it over to the boys. What are your guesses?
I think it'll be about 30 minutes. I've got to say, what a tremendous setup as well. But yeah, I think 30 minutes for me.
I think it's around 50 minutes. I mean, that's a complicated transmission housing body with, 2 operations.
Yeah, lots of quick machining ops though.
There is, but there's 2
small
setups.
holes.
I think if we, including the old, the setups and the machining times, I'm going 50 minutes, but
Right.
we'll see.
Good luck. Right then, later on in the show, we'll be speaking to Lee Donaldson about his latest diamond burnishing tools that are totally versatile within this industry. But next up, we head up north to BCW.
My input for Swarf and Chips this week comes from BCW Manufacturing in Burnley. And with Tony Kilfoyle, I'm going to show you something here that's quite incredible. Tony, you purchased this new Matsuura MX850 5-axis a few months ago. But the real eye-opener here for me and for you guys here at BCW Manufacturing is the fixturing. Now, you printed this on your new HP 3D printer from Matsuura, didn't you? Tell us about what you've done here.
Well, basically we've prototype part, we've drawn the part 3D, and then we've manufactured a fixture to support the prototypes.
So what's the advantages to do it this way? Is it about the time saving?
It's about time and also design. We can build things into design to make the fixture easier to use, but it's the biggest thing is the time saving.
So before a fixture like this, I'm sure it would have looked very different as well to what you've done here, but you would have had to have, as we've said, ordered the material, you would have had to engineer
Possibly
it.
fabricated, but this fixture, 24 hours, we've got a fixture, usable fixture, which is on the machine.
Now, you've got a lot of machines here at BCW. How, as we move forward, how many do you think you'll incorporate fixturing that you print onto? Do you still think there's a big market for the metallic fixture? But
There'll always be metallic fixtures, yeah, certainly for turning, but for machining, 5-axis machining, 3D printing is going to be a big part of our manufacturing.
So this particular one turned around in 24 hours from thought to actually being
released from design. Been released from design, printed in 24 hours, ready to go on the machine.
Now, everything always seems fantastic, Tony. We always like to try and look for the pitfalls. Is there any drawbacks to this?
The only drawbacks really are the small holes. Tapped holes can be a problem, but we make hybrid fixtures. So what we do, we build metallics into the fixture, and that gets around that problem.
And the material here, the plastic is strong, it's sturdy?
Strong, it absorbs the cutting actions, so vibrations, it absorbs all that, better than metallics.
Great stuff. There you have it. Wow, what an innovation. So no longer for prototyping will BCW actually make fixtures if they can print them more efficiently and effectively as they've done here on this MX850.
You know what, last time we were on the road, we spoke to Brown and Holmes about the same situation here. You know, something that was spoken about in the future is actually happening now.
Yeah, and this is real evidence of that. They're one of the first companies I've visited who are actually printing their own fixtures and have made massive savings as a result of doing it. I think I learned so much by being there. One of the things, and I know Gio will mention this as well, is about the hybrid fixtures. This isn't just about replacing a metallic fixture and printing the same, out of plastic as what you had out of metal. It's about redesigning it. It's about using the benefits of both. So if you don't need a metallic part, use plastic. If you do, use it as an insert. Putting the two together will save you time, save you money, and by the sounds of it, there's very little compromise.
I think it's amazing. I think it's brilliant to start seeing real life applications now. I think BCW as a company are really forward thinking company, and they're always at the forefront of technology, and they've always made their own fixtures historically, and that's been partly due to their massive success. I think that the fact that they're actually hybriding the fixtures is something that's quite interesting, and something that I picked up on in that video that I found quite interesting was Tony mentions that it dampens vibration. Now that's massive in a fixture, because you can imagine that is something that you really want to eliminate to get better surface finish, better cutting tool longevity, faster feeds and speeds, and not only that, they can start manufacturing fixtures exactly how they want them now, rather than having the constraints of the machinery that they had in the past. They can
run air through them. They can do air holes, hydraulics. All of that can be incorporated into these fixtures. So it is really a big game
evolution.
changer. Yes.
Absolutely.
That's what's happening.
And I think you mentioned it, it's changing the landscape of engineering, or as we knew it, not only for making fixtures and jigs, but to make components that are historically made in a certain way, because they only had certain machinery at that given time to manufacture it. But now people can really start thinking out the box. And we've mentioned apprentices in a lot of shows. The future engineers are going to have this brilliant technology to work with.
And all available from Matsuura now. It's going to be a big seller for them.
Yeah.
Did you get my joke earlier?
Paul, I was thinking about it. There was once upon a time, my mum used to wash me in the sink.
No. She used
talking to my mum.
She used to wash you. She used to wash you because you stink.
You're a nightmare.
You are. Right, anyway, next up, we are talking to Sandvik about high performance turning.
Thanks, Lindsay. Joining me today is Lee Kendall from Sandvik Coromant, and we're going to have a masterclass from Lee on high performance turning. Lee, I know this is unique to Sandvik, but just tell the viewers.
Yeah, here we can see the prime turning tools, Coroturn prime tools for prime turning. These are really highly productive tools for turning in the opposite direction to what you would normally do conventionally. But by doing that, we thin the chip out, and it allows us to go much, much higher on the feed rates and higher on the cutting speed.
How much faster? How much more productive?
30 to 40% on the speed in some instances, but up to 1.2 millimeters of rev on the feed rate. So it's very, very productive, and you get better tool life as well. So it's a win-win.
Very significant. This is one of my favourites. Y-axis part off. So simple, but so clever as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why anyone's not thought of it before, but using the Y-axis to part off, you get 6 times the blade stiffness. So by doing that, you can elevate your speed, elevate your feed, and get much more productive, more reliable parting off.
Easy to program?
It's a little bit trickier to program because it's not what we're used to. It's using the Y-axis, but it's very straightforward. We have lots of examples and lots of installations where people are using this now.
And the advantage is it's worth the effort, isn't it?
Oh, definitely worth the effort, especially if you're parting off a lot of components.
Mm-hmm. So these are performance tools. Am I right in saying this is more about rigidity, more process stability?
Yeah, process security, process reliability, especially in face grooving, is key. You don't want to be breaking tools and setting up all the time. So this system has been designed from the ground up purely for face grooving. And of course, that makes it the most reliable, the most safe, the most stable one on the market today.
And this one here, it looks like the insert just sat there on the scrap tool holder, but I know there's far, far more to it than that.
No, we have a T-rail on the tool, and then the female version on the insert, and that sits and stops any insert movement when you're profiling. So again, it's about reliability, and it's about process security.
And that's the iLock technology. I understand it's on threading as well.
Yeah, we have the same for threading. So it stops any insert movement, which gives, again, much better product for the customer.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Lee. So there we have it. That was obviously very brief, but we've reviewed all these products and more in Technical Corners, so stay tuned to the channel and see more of Lee.
I'd like to see more of Lee. I think Sandvik, not only have they got the knowledge, but they've also got the product to back it up, like the Y-axis part-off tool,
those technical corners are absolutely fantastic. The amount of retention they get on our channel, like for example, you measure on how long people watch things, they're almost 100%. So everyone watching those videos are watching them all the way through, and you can see why.
Yeah.
What a way to learn about a new product. And to me, it just seems weird turning backwards, but it's obviously effective and it works.
Yeah.
How it works is I don't know.
I think it's crazy, isn't it? I think that you mentioned evolving. Everything is just evolving and just thinking out the box. And there's some clever people out there, and it's lovely to be reporting and we're learning ourselves, aren't we?
Definitely.
All the time. This is some of them were new to me as well, Paul. Like turning backwards. I know that they've got new technologies now, so you can turn how you would traditionally, but then take a cut and then turn on the way back as well. Which obviously saves a fresh haircut.
Rapid, yeah.
But it's all about productivity gains, isn't it?
And
making
better
those
tool
components.
wear, faster. You're kind of looking for, where's the compromise again? But doesn't appear to be one.
It'd be really interesting to see how many people use their parting off tool to, use the y-axis to part off, because obviously we keep touching on the y-axis about milling functionality on a lathe, but how often do we hear about it for parting off? And,
Correct.
And I'm kind of fascinated really to know all of the benefits from it and how much time does it actually save, against parting off traditionally.
It left you wanting more, really.
Yes, definitely. Well, thanks, gents, because I'm going to have to get you to head off. And on the other side of this, I'm going to be joined by Lee and Neil from this fantastic facility, Cogsdill.
What's that smell anyway? Is that you?
It's not me, you.
Stop it. Lee and Neil, thank you for letting us use your facility.
Yeah, you're
very welcome.
Right, and before we reference and talk about the diamond burnishing tools, what's all the landing gear about?
Yeah, there's a good reason for not drinking on a Saturday night and going on eBay. No, the reason this is quite important to us because here at Cogsdill we manufacture tools for a lot of industries.
Yeah.
And what people don't tend to associate us with is the aerospace industry. But inside this strut here is quite a complex machine cavity, which we use our ZX tool in for machining. There's also several other components on here. These bushes, for example, they're all reamed using chef-cut reamers. There are certain components which are roller burnished. So just in this one's part here, there are several different uses of the Cogsdill tools.
I can't get over about how much you produce here.
That's right, yeah. A lot of all these tools that were manufactured for producing this part are all manufactured on this site here in Nuneaton.
Wow.
Correct.
It's incredible. Right, moving on, your latest invention of a diamond burnishing tool.
Yes.
Let's have a look.
Okay, this is the diamond burnishing face milling tool.
And it's your latest invention, is it?
We invented this tool.
Oh, wow. Talk us through it.
Okay, it's a milling tool. It's basically designed to follow a cutting tool, a milling cutting tool, and it's designed to cold works the material, so it pushes the peaks of a milled surface into the valleys, produces a very, very flat surface and a very low RA surface finish.
So what's the benefits to the customer using this? You're improving surface finish.
Yes.
And people really want now one-hit machining, don't they?
Correct, and that's exactly what you're saying there, Lindsay, is you get a very low RA surface finish, so you get a good surface finish, but also you're doing it on the machine that you've just milled the part on. So previously you would be taking this off the machine, or taking the part off the machine, either grinding it or lapping it or polishing it, whereas now you can do it in one setup on the machine by milling and diamond burnish milling.
Saving people money and getting a better product at the end of it. But
Correct.
it's not, so this is your invention,
Yes.
this is milling,
Yep.
but you've actually got another development which is on the lathe.
Yes, that's right, Lindsay.
Yeah.
This is we actually launched this about a month ago, which is a universal diamond burnishing tool.
Yeah.
We have a bit of a think tank here with tools, and obviously we're customer led, so if there is an application or we see there's a gap or something that can benefit a customer, we like to develop the tool in to do that. We manufactured diamond burnishing tools for over 40 years on this site, or in Nuneaton, and this is just a natural progression, and because this is a universal tool, it means that it's got a 180 degree adjustment on the tool, which means that customers can use it on different types of configurations of machine.
So basically, you've got your standard diamond burnishing tools to do high volume work. They're sitting in the machine, don't even need to think about them as as often. But this comes along, and who's using this?
That's right. This is for a more low volume, where they've got certain batches they want to do, where they may want to burnish diameter. They may have some components where they want to burnish the face of a component. Wow. And obviously with this adjustment, they can adjust the angle of the nib, so they can use one tool to do a multitude of different components on different machines.
Have they been popular? Because that's obviously,
They have been very popular. In fact, I got in trouble for launching this before we were actually finished. We kind of leaked what we were doing on LinkedIn just to show the development we were doing, and there's been a lot of interest. We've also developed another type, which is the same tool, but obviously this one has a capto fit in.
Yes.
So again, it can go straight onto a different interface on a different machine, but we designed it specifically to go onto the Cogsdill facing heads. Wow. So we're combining the ZX technology with the burnishing technology from one setup.
Wow, okay, we're talking about supply, and there's certainly a demand now in the industry.
Yes. That's right.
Right, well, thank you so much. It's actually really inspiring talking to you today, so thank you. Regarding, evolution, we talk about evolution so often now, and, something like this is just fantastic to see. So thank you for letting us use your facility for Swarf and Chips. Of course, anyone who wants to get in touch regarding burnishing tools, to speak to either one of yourselves here at Cogsdill.
Thank you.
Do not forget to get your guesses in for today's Cycle Time Challenge. Don't forget also to like, comment and subscribe. And as we always say, keep those spindles turning.